Hello Pisces, welcome to your May tarot reading. Just as a friendly reminder, these tarot readings are for entertainment and personal enlightenment only. Please do not use these readings to replace medical, financial, legal, or any other professional advice or diagnosis. I would also like to remind everyone that I am not a therapist, so please do not seek me out for therapy purposes. Okay, so I think this month I'm going to use the classic Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. So Pisces, let's get started with your reading. What messages do you have for Pisces? What message do you have for Pisces? Oh, by the way, welcome back to my channel. I'm Maritza of the Sybil Heart. What messages do you have for Pisces? Okay, so we have the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. So, right away, I'm noticing that these are opposite elements. So we have fire with the wands and earth with the pentacles. One is more active and the other is passive, respectively. Let's see. I'm also thinking fire is on the surface and earth is beneath the surface. So maybe what's happening is that you're putting on a mask of being outgoing and sociable, but your true nature is to be introverted and not antisocial, but if you have the choice, you prefer to be on your own. But let's see what the rest of the reading says. I almost had some jumpers here, but I'm not gonna pull them out. Okay. What is the rest of the message? We have the Ace of Swords. Okay, so now I'm seeing that you're coming to the realization that your extrovertedness is not your true nature. And lately it's been very clear. And what might be happening is that you may be having conflicting feelings about this. Like, even to yourself, you are realizing you're not the person you thought you were or you believed yourself to be. And what may be causing inner conflict with yourself is that more often than not now, you want to be on your own, but your social circle is feeling hurt by this, maybe. That could be one manifestation of this. Excuse me while I drink my coffee. Or rather, that could be one manifestation that I can see happening that might not necessarily be true for every Pisces out there, of course. This is a collective reading. The next card is Cancer. Is the Chariot card, which is the sign of Cancer. The Chariot makes me think that you're coming to terms with this new personal dynamic within yourself. I'm seeing you like reveling in this realization that you are more introverted than you thought, and you really cherish your alone time. You feel more at home with yourself. And the reason I say that is because the Chariot card is Cancer, as I had said, and Cancer is a very homebody type sign. So maybe you have a bit of that. It's also a water sign. So, and Pisces is as well. I'm also getting the sense that you're going to be more adamant about being on your own, or like having time to yourself. Because that's when you can make the most sense out of things. That's when you can sift through information the best and process the information, whatever it may be. Okay. Then we have the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is very much a lone wolf type of person. And And this is not to say that they don't have any friends, but it's very much a card that signifies exactly what I've been speaking about, where time to yourself is precious and cherished. And it's almost like the thing that should be considered is if you have an unhealthy attachment to your aloneness. Like before, you believed that you were extroverted and needed to be around people, and that in itself was sort of like it was unhealthy because it wasn't your true nature and you always felt conflicted, right? And that can sometimes cause certain levels of stress, even if it's unconsciously or subconsciously. But now we must be careful about developing a similar attachment, unhealthy attachment to this lone wolf mentality. Just because you believe yourself to be a lone wolf type doesn't mean that you always have to be alone. Or that you have to become mean just to acquire time to yourself. Okay, I'm not really seeing any cards that could signify what began this new realization. Maybe in the past Cancer season you had this realization that you preferred being on your own. And so now, like, here's a scenario that could be happening, is that in the past Cancer season, you had this realization, and with the Queen of Swords, I'm thinking maybe you decided to cut people out of your life that you didn't feel was necessary, but that's the unhealthy way to go about being introverted. But maybe you've already done the thing, and let's see. We have the Lovers. So Gemini season. Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on. So, I'm going to go into a personal detail. I'm a Gemini, and one of my best friends is a Pisces, and we go through these periods of time where we won't like speak to each other, just because like we're both introverted, and like we get that we need space a lot of the time. So like we go through these long periods of time where we won't talk to each other at all. And like I'm doing a reading for a Pisces, and then the Lovers, which is Gemini, comes up, and I'm a Gemini. So this might be this is a reading that hits home for me, at least. Anyway. But anyway, so if you're going through a moment where you are trying to kind of figure out who you are in the introverted dynamic that you've discovered about yourself, I think in Gemini season, perhaps. Like, it could be that in Gemini season, this is where it all begins, or this is, like, if you're already in it, this is, Gemini season will be where it all kind of begins to make sense to you and how being introverted kind of manifests for you. So you'll be able to start to be less of a lone wolf, I guess. And you'll be able to figure out, like, okay, these are the times where I can be social and I have the energy for it. And then here are the times when I need time to myself. You know what I mean? Or maybe you don't, but you're kind of figuring it out. Okay. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles. I think what makes you feel more comfortable is to do a lot of research about introversion or like personality types, and like gathering as much information as you can about who you are through research. Perhaps because that's like part of your, like, I'm thinking maybe you had a background in research and so that's where you feel most comfortable. Like, I'm thinking like maybe you have a college level training in research, or that's what you studied a lot in college, maybe. And so you feel comfortable gathering information before you make a decision that, like, yeah, this is me, or nah, this isn't really who I am. Another thing I want to point out is that this is a slow process for you. Like, figuring out where you are on the introvert extrovert spectrum is like, there are going to be times where you're going to feel extremely social and you're going to want to go out and do stuff, and then there's going to be moments where you are going to be absolutely just not in the mood to be around other people. And it's going to feel like you're you have like different personalities. But it just usually depends on who you are around and like if you're even interested in, you know, the conversations going on around you. Let's see. There was another thing I wanted to mention. Oh, one thing I'm noticing with many of the cards is that, especially in I guess the Page of Wands is too. So there are many cards in this reading that have figures, human figures, holding something as if they really cherish it and admire it. So like we've got the Page of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, the Sword, in the Ace of Swords, and in the Queen of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. Like they're all holding something. Like it's very precious to them. And what that makes me think is that you're holding this newfound side of yourself. Like it's a very important aspect of yourself that you've discovered, that you want to explore. Maybe during Gemini season and Cancer season, because Gemini comes before Cancer season. You might discover something more about this aspect of yourself. Let's see. And then for the final card, we have the Three of Wands. And this is going to be something that makes you curious about yourself, maybe even about other people. But it makes you excited to feel. It makes you excited to know that there are new things to discover about yourself when perhaps you thought you had yourself figured out. And you're excited to explore new things about yourself, for yourself. And like you're excited to know that this isn't the last time. Like you thought you had things figured out, and sorry, my cat is walking by the microphone if you hear anything. So you felt like you had things figured out already. Maybe you're already an adult and you feel like you have life figured out and you've developed a personality, but you're excited to know that you are still growing and learning and exploring. And you're not actually done with your life, if that makes sense. Like, you're not done. This isn't all there is. There's more out there, and there's especially more within yourself to learn and grow from, if that makes sense. Okay. That is your reading, Pisces. Thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.